If you don't want to have any regrets in your 20s and you feel like you're wasting your entire potential, I went from sleeping on my best friend's couch to helping my clients make over $18 million in revenue, and I've helped over 890 coaches. So this is my story on how I did it. I first got into business because when I was in college, I saw one of my best friends be an entrepreneur. And as friends, he would always ask me for advice. Not that I knew a lot about entrepreneurship, but he would just ask me for advice as a friend, and I would help him a little bit. I figured out that's what consulting was, and I kind of looked into what it entailed. Although I literally never wanted to be an entrepreneur because I was in the US as an immigrant and all I needed was a 9-to-5 and a work visa. So that was never in the back of my mind. But I still liked the way he lived as an entrepreneur, meaning just his outlook in life, which pushed me to look for jobs that were entrepreneur in nature. But unfortunately, that was like my biggest mistake ever. I saw my friend making money as an entrepreneur without no boss, and I thought that was cool. Then I saw my boss in the startup that I got a job at. This wasn't his first rodeo. He wrote books and he helped other people in businesses, and I thought, holy shit, this is actually pretty cool. But even though I thought that was cool, it didn't help me at all because I couldn't be an entrepreneur as an immigrant. I needed a work visa. So I knew I had to work 4 times harder than any American, because if somebody was going to pick me over an American, they would have to entail a lot of risk because they would have to sponsor me and all those things. So I worked a lot. I worked very hard, and that played very well in the near future because I was able to learn a lot, to work hard and build me up as a man, to have the good habits that I needed to excel in anything. So I had to learn a lot of skills, and by the time I would say I was in really good shape. So I was playing around with posting fitness content on IG, mostly just workout routines, me at the gym, flexing, very stupid shit. But posting and not being afraid to be in front of camera kept helping me change my life in the future, and I'll explain how that looked. And even though my girlfriend at the time hated the fact that I was doing content online because she thought it was for attention, I'm glad I kept doing it because it just kept building me up. In the meantime, my hobby was working out, recording content, all those stuff. I remember I had a sales call with my first online client for a $75 fitness plan, and I remember getting that money and I was just so happy for 75 bucks. And I remember she paid me through Venmo, which was amazing. Mind you, this was while I was in college. I was doing my master's degree in marketing, and I was about 26 or 27, still trying to just get a good job so that I can secure a 9-to-5 so that I could just have the American dream. My goal at 27 was so far and so different than what my goal is today, but I still was working so hard because in the back of my mind that I just need a visa, I need to stay, and I just need to work hard so I could get sponsorships. And that bled into my hobby. So like I still work 9-to-5, but me wanting to work hard made me work from 5 to midnight on my fitness stuff, posting content, etc. And I remember waking up at 4 a.m. consistently. I had this 4 a.m. club thing going because I needed to go to the gym at that time so that I could record. So when I came back from my 9-to-5, I could edit and just do other stuff for my hobby at that point. Then one day, randomly, I remember I stayed later at the office where I was working for the advertising firm that I was working for. I stayed there for a little bit longer after everyone left, and I recorded this stupidest video ever on TikTok, and that shit went mega viral. So much so that people that work for that same company recognized the office, and they would tell me like, hey, I think I saw your office in Nashville, blah blah blah, because it just went mega viral. And my job at the time at the firm was a paid media specialist, so I was running a lot of ads for like really big companies, and I knew a lot about copywriting, I knew about funnels, I knew a little bit about all these things. So I thought, you know what, there might be something in here. So I thought about combining both my passion for fitness with my knowledge in marketing. So I was like, okay, let me write a nutrition book, which took me so much to do, so long to do. And I forgot how many I sold, but I actually sold a good amount, and I got really good testimonials, and I got people really excited about that. And that was like the first time I was like, okay, there's something here. Like I'm selling some, I think the book was like $27 maybe, and I thought I was fighting tooth and nail to get somebody to buy a freaking ebook online. It was so embarrassing, but I was very proud of what I built. And then I started doing this like print on demand, really funny t-shirts that had really dumb stuff, like iron therapy. So like all the revenue I was getting from that shirt, I was donating it to charity, which I thought was something cool. And there was movement, I had close to 100,000 followers on TikTok, and I was going viral. There was some movement going. I built funnels, I built Shopify stores for my stuff. While I wasn't making a lot of money from it, I remember that was the first time me making money online. And like during this time, even though it was like a couple $100 a month, I didn't really think about, okay, this might be something to go like to get extremely rich. That wasn't the goal. Like my goal still was like, okay, 9 9-to-5 sponsorship stay in the US. And little did I know, there were big dogs in the industry following me and watching every move I was doing online, which played a really good role, a really big role in the future. And everything changed when reality started to creep in. My work visa after my master's ended and I was in the process of getting a sponsorship, and during that time I couldn't work legally, so I was by myself, like I was not getting paid. So I launched the offers, I had maybe some online clients, I still sold some of the book, and I had a couple money saved up that made me not freak out. Even though I was still freaking out a little bit, I had some money saved up. And in that process, one of those big dogs was looking at my stuff. He came in through my funnel, he liked what he saw, and he got in touch with me over Instagram. And this was a consulting company that helped fitness coaches scale. But he wasn't getting in touch with me to sign me as a client, but to sign me as somebody that could potentially help their business. So we got in touch, we met in Nashville, we vibed, and they hired me as a paid media, like an ads guy, for like $3,000 a month, because they already had an agency, but the agency was like doing really bad work. And I remember getting that paycheck and I was like, damn, this is the first time I get big bucks for working on my own terms and my own time, and like for my knowledge outside of a 9-to-5 kind of thing. And it felt incredible. And at this time I was like 27 or so. Shortly after I met with them, my US visa finally got denied and I was kicked out of the US, so I went back to Colombia to keep working online for the advertising firm and for them as well as a freelancer. But honestly, things fell through with the advertising firm and I quit, so I went full-time with these people and things were starting to get pretty good. They fired the ads agency that they were working with, they brought me in full-time. I got more responsibility, the company grew very fast. I started to gain a lot of responsibility and ownership in the company. I built their entire Go High level infrastructure. I built a lot of their funnels. I was running all of their ads. We ran millions of dollars in ads. I spoke at their events. I coached a lot of their clients, and I started myself seeing as a part of the company rather than just another employee. In fact, at one point, one of their biggest competitors would like reach out to me and ask me for help, but I would always say no. Dude, I was making good money. I was helping a company grow. I was in love at that time. I was buying shit. I was working out. I was in great shape. I was happy. But looking back, I never saw this coming. One December, I got cheated on, betrayed, and I felt like the entire world collapsed underneath me. Like everything just really sucked, because I poured so much into that relationship, way more than I was pouring on myself. So obviously I felt like shit. Obviously that took a toll in me, my mental health, my performance at the job. But you know, I did everything I could to still show up, keep working and pulling through. In fact, that next summer, I helped this company make their first $1 million a month in business. And I saw the great results I was making them that I asked for a piece of the pie, a rev share of some sort, I can't remember specifically. And that just unraveled a lot of events that led them to fire me. It felt like a hole in my chest, but weirdly enough, I also felt like a sense of relief. The thing is, now I lost all of my income streams, and by this time I was about 29. So clearly I lost all of the confidence in myself, because I would see kids who were 23 being fucking millionaires, and here I am 29, jobless and lost. I was able to like create some sort of marketing agency offer, and I signed a big client that got me through the next 4 months of my life, honestly. But I went from making all this money feeling incredible to like losing it all, and I felt very lost. Obviously the last thing I thought about was quitting. Like that wasn't an option. So I needed to like take a breather, kind of reset. And that summer, for my birthday, I went to Europe and Dubai just to gain some sort of motivation, confidence. I signed a couple clients as a marketing agency, but nothing really solidified. It was just like a Frankenstein of things put together because I needed the money. I knew I needed to invest in myself to figure out what was the offer that I need to create that aligned with me and allow me to help other people. And this traveling like really sparked something in me that I just needed to move way faster. I needed more urgency in my life. Later that year, November 2023, I traveled to Miami to meet with a guy called Tanner. He's very big on social media, and he really showed me how really smart people thought about business. We sat for about 2 hours, and that just completely rewired my brain on how people on the next level actually think about business and life. And I was like, holy shit, I really have to get building. But this kind of backfired because I thought about investing so much in me that I didn't do diligence with another coach that completely just scammed me out of $9,000, and I got nothing in return. I got a fucking PowerPoint and one 90-minute presentation every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and I just felt like a chunk of my life. I threw that away. Like I burned $9,000 on fire, and that shit got me fucking livid. Like I was so mad. But the good thing about that is that it taught me exactly what I didn't want to offer other clients. It taught me everything. Like completely do not do this. Do the complete opposite of that so that you can create something that's worth investing money in. Something completely opposite from like what the other gurus in the space are doing, because that just sucked so much. But that was super hard to accept because it was now December 2023 and I had no offer. Like I was still lost. But then over time, locking in, failing a lot, seeing what people like, seeing what people didn't like, I invested $8,000 on another mentor who at the time he was doing all this like follower ads thing on Instagram, and it didn't work either because I still had no offer. And he was so focused on making sure his framework worked that we never touched my offer, and I just poured a lot of money into ads that never worked, and that just sucked even more. Another thing I learned was that I can't push my philosophy of growing businesses into other businesses just because it worked for me. I had to learn that people and businesses out there function differently from what I believe. So I learned that I have to learn different frameworks, different ways of growing that could adapt to other businesses. So $8,000 lesson right there for you. Then things started to click. Why focus on cool frameworks and cool mechanisms that are just very guru, but rather really focus on the fundamentals that make any business grow? And it sounded so boring at first, but I started practicing what I preach and things started to blow up. I stopped seeing every setback as a setback, but rather an opportunity for me to learn, readjust, make things better. So with this better mindset, improving every single day, even by 1%, I started to see clients grow and get better and better results. I took clients from making $0 to $30,000 a month, from 50K months to 100K months back to back, and opening doors for clients that they never saw possible because they grew so much, their partners saw how they were growing, so they got so many good opportunities, and the ripple effect was unreal. And it became a bigger mission than just money, changing lives. And I mean, I'm leaving a lot of things just for the sake of the length of this video, but I began to act more as a consultant and a mentor to clients than a guru and a coach creator. Everything was bigger than just Stripe screenshots, and it was just really about impact and then changing the lives of so many people. There were clients that got into debt to get into business with me, and I made it my fucking mission to quadruple their business, whatever it took. And that set the precedent, but if I'm being really honest with you, I felt like I started very late. I wasn't really on a groove until I turned 30, and it felt like I lost all of my 20s. I spent all of my 20s clawing and praying to God to give me a 9-to-5 job, literally. But I guess that paved the way into the life that I have now and the way that I've helped hundreds of people as well. And looking back, it's just those things aren't failures, they're just different learning opportunities. I've gone on stage to speak about emails and paid media, ran ads for clients and make them millions of dollars, help clients go viral, help clients save marriages of thousands of people, help their clients get healthier, get pregnant, change their lives. It's just so fulfilling. I had a client who saved tens of millions of dollars to other people in tuition. Like, it's just unreal. It's just fucking unreal. And I've helped other clients in so many different niches, in so many different countries, in different languages as well. And it's just incredible. Less than 3 years ago, I was living with my parents, working a 9-to-5 as a contractor for a company that fired me. Now I've been able to help hundreds of coaches. I helped that company hit $1 million a month and change the trajectory of their company too. And now I'm just focused on building the best, most undeniable consultancy business in the space that literally focuses on client results. That's all I want. And what this entire journey taught me was that never see those failures dictate my path. Because again, those things looking back built me to who I am today. Obviously, the only thing I wish was that I started way earlier, but I didn't know that at the point in my life because all I wanted was a 9-to-5. So I guess it is what it is. It helped me to have an incredible work ethic. It helped me to see way beyond money and more about impact. So I guess what I can tell you right now is that if you're in your 20s, and I don't care what age you are, is that the thing that's best right now for you is to pursue the thing that's bigger than money. Money will come. And through all that journey, even getting scammed, all served its purpose. Because even that told me to never be that story for other clients. And also the last thing I would say is, even mentors of mine who make tens of millions of dollars a year, sometimes they also feel lost in life too. And they've asked me for advice. And that's completely normal. And they all went through stuff like this too. You go through shit, you go through betrayals, you go through people firing you, you go through people speaking bad about you even though you helped their life so much. You'll have loss in your family, you'll move away from home, you'll move back to home, you'll lose friends, you're gonna cry at night, you're gonna question everything. And it's not easy. And the only reason I'm telling you this is because I went through all of that. And I started late as fuck in business. If you don't quit, you can't lose. And right now, this is just the beginning for me. Go after what you want. I'll see you in the next one.